Welcome back, tribe. We got one here. It says, I quit my warehouse job of 12 years. Hard work gets you nowhere. I think a lot of men are starting to exit the workforce. You're just seeing that the amount of work you need to put in for these corporations, getting very little in return, treated like crap and being replaced whenever, they feel like it at a moment's notice because it makes sense for profit. There is no loyalty in the corporate world anymore. We get underpaid and overworked. Let's get into it. It's a red leg piper if you want to follow.
So the quick answer as to how I left my warehouse distribution center job is, for the last couple years before I put my 2 weeks in, I planned my escape behind the scenes really quietly without anybody knowing. I got my home right, my finances right, got all my debt paid off, stacked a lot of money.
Smart.
And had something on the side prepared before I put my 2 weeks in. And nobody knew. I didn't tell a single soul until HR 2 weeks before I quit. I was at my warehouse distribution center job for almost 12 years.
Sheesh.
Started in 2010. And well, at that time, that was a pretty good job. It was a good work environment, even though I was still loading trailers. What I was doing was I was in shipping department my entire 12 years, loading trailers full of product to be sent out to stores. Well, about year 6 into it, I ended up staying in shipping, but I put in a driving position to get on a forklift in a reach trailer or reach truck. So my last 6 remaining years with the company, I was a forklift operator in shipping department. Again, it was okay about year 6, but I started to see a heavy decline when management started changing, when HR started changing, and the company got bought out by another company. Now, the job was still secured, more or less, regardless. This company has been around since in the early 1900s, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. However, I quickly realized that the new management didn't give a shit about the team members and didn't give a shit about, anything about kissing ass to corporate, which, that should be relatively common sense about any job, right? But it's kind of, not easy to wrap your head around when this job you have for so long was a good job, right? It was a good job. It's not like I was going into a shitty job to begin with, where it was a toxic work environment. For half my time there, it was a good job. And then slowly but surely, management crept in and started allowing really bad team members to get away with a bunch of shit. Now, I'm all for hard work. I'm all for downtime as well. When you get your job done, you got a little bit of downtime. I'm cool with that. I used to do the same thing. But the job always had to get done. And the unfortunate thing about it is that the new management that crept into this warehouse, into this distribution center, was so toxic that they would allow the lazy people to sit around on pallets, go for half-hour bathroom breaks, take longer regular breaks, just disappear off the floor, go talk to random girls, and a lot of the management would, flirt with the team members. They formed their own little clique, and I saw that coming a mile away, and I didn't like it. In fact, they wanted me, among a couple other hardworking individuals in the department, to take on the bulk of the work. And for a while there, I was stupid. And I did.
And that's my biggest problem with being a company man that I saw early on when I was in college. No matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you try to outshine everybody else, you get paid the same shitty wage. And on top of that, they will then dole out responsibilities that are not your pay grade to be doing. They want you to do all the extra shit for being a good employee and trying hard anyways, but at the end of the year will not give you a raise, will not change your position and give you a promotion, won't do anything for you but a pat on the back and a kick in the ass when it's convenient for them. You do not get financial freedom from being a company man. The only thing you should be doing when working for a company is saving as much money as possible or using that to sustain you while you build up a side business. I hate to harp on this side business shit because you used to be able to provide for a family at a corporate job. That's not the world we live in today. We're in a more like a gig economy. Part-time jobs dominate all the job listing. Pay is shit compared to cost of living. Do not expect to get a cushy job that you get to keep for decades on end, and it'll still be there for you to provide for your family late into your 50s, right up until retirement in your 60s. That shit no longer exists in America. I think the average everyday working man in America and the West in general needs to start pivoting and understanding that the power of the internet is the only way you could truly get free today. Having your own business on the side is the only way you could escape the rat race. These entry-level jobs, these corporate jobs, this company man bullshit no longer applies to us. We've already been sold a dream. We came out of college. They promised us jobs. They shipped them all out overseas. They then bring in people with H-1B visas to take our jobs anyways that we went to college for that they keep in the United States. It's all horse shit. You got sold a lie. Now you're in debt, coming out of college, dead broke, can't start a family, can hardly feed yourself with entry-level jobs that require a ton of experience that don't even exist yet because you've just graduated and doing a line of work that has nothing to do with what the fuck you went to school for. And people are wondering, why aren't we having kids anymore? Government officials are like, damn, what's up with men? Why are they checking out in droves of the labor force? What's going on? No shit, Sherlock. You're better off doing trade school today 1,000 times better than being some stupid company man at some corporate office somewhere. Get the trade skills paid for, then go out on your own. Start your own company. Do your own HVAC, your own electrical, your own plumbing, your own all this shit. It's harder work, but job security is much better these days. It's also area dependent. You got to go into areas that need more plumbers, more electricians, more welders, more all of this shit. It can be done. Guys in the comment section will actually tell you they are making six figures and well beyond that after they hung up their own shingle, so to speak, started their own business after putting in years as a journeyman and achieved financial freedom with very little to no debt. There are pathways for men. That old company man 9 to 5 bullshit no longer applies. When your company gets sold off or a piece of it or whatever, new management comes in, they have zero loyalty for you. 12 years. He saw this shit coming. 12 years. The man put in 12 years and it all got ruined.
And I found real quick that I'm doing more work for the same amount of pay. I'm doing their work while they're slacking off and doing nothing.
There you go.
While I'm getting paid the same amount of pay. No promotion, no extra money, no this or that.
Told you.
The company started slowly going downhill. No incentives to come into work, no incentives for a lot of things. And I'm probably preaching to the choir with probably 99% of jobs out there. And hold on, I'm not just bitching, okay? I'm going somewhere with this about how I got out of it and why I think you should too. The company, the management got so bad from top down that my wife actually worked there too for almost 20 years. She got me in. She worked there for 20 years. I was there for 12. She was there for 20. And she even saw it because she put in to be a manager. Now, like I said, she doesn't have any, no bad attendance, no write-ups, no nothing. Squeaky clean, history with the company for 20 years. I had squeaky clean attendance across the board and no strikes on me, no write-ups or nothing. I was a hard worker, I thought, and she was a hard worker. We got stuff done. And, and it's just unfortunate that the management, even though my wife wanted to become a manager at one point, they were promoting the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
It was the women that were going around sleeping around with the other managers.
There it is.
Wearing hoochie shit. We're getting promoted.
There it is.
My wife obviously ain't like that. And so she put in for manager 3 fucking times. 3 fucking times she put in for manager.
20 years.
And they denied her every fucking time. Meanwhile, they're promoting women that are sleeping around, women that are flirting with other managers, wearing hoochie shit, running equipment off the dock and doing all these just tons of shit that they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. But somebody who dedicated 20 fucking years to your company with a squeaky clean record, who's been in all the other departments, every other fucking department. She knew the work of every other fucking department. You turned her down 3 fucking times, and you hire the hookers of the company, or you promote the hookers of the company.
Yeah.
What a slap in the fucking face, man.
Absolute bullshit.
What a slap in the fucking face. Not only that, but it was just, I got tired of being used. I got so tired of being used for what? For no incentive whatsoever other than to work more harder, catch other people's red lights. It was like red light fucking district dumping that motherfucker. For some of y'all who don't know what red light means is that the conveyor belts have so much product on them that it's getting backed up. That I ended up having to go up to these red lights because other lazy motherfuckers weren't doing their job, and it's like the lane exploded and fucking boxes are falling off the fucking line and shit. And I'm trying to go in there and fix their shit, taking on the responsibility of the managers and some of their work to get their workload some of their workload off their back, so their managers and their IOs aren't jumping down their back. In the meantime, half those motherfuckers are standing at their computer, ain't doing shit, walking around, not helping. Flirting around with other team members, sitting in their fucking office, making themselves look busy. And like I said, it's not like tiered. I mean, the next level up would have been, because you got team members and that's it. Team members, managers, and above them were IOs, inbound, outbound, management, and then maintenance. And then obviously you got corporate and shit like that. But if you're just a bottom of the barrel team member, you all get paid the fucking same. It don't matter if you've been there, 2 years or 20 years. You all getting paid the same. And I dedicated 12 fucking years to this company, man. 12 fucking years. My wife put in 20 fucking years. For what? For fucking what? These companies don't give a shit. You could die tomorrow and they'll have a moment of silence over their PA if you're lucky. If you were on their side, on their good side, no matter how long you were there, you'll get maybe a minute of fucking silence and then they replace you the same day.
Yep, with a shitty pizza party, and they can't even buy the good stuff. It's the frozen pizza with the off-brand Coca-Cola or soda, whatever that they're getting. And back to your cubicle slaves, back to your assembly line. Make us that money. It's insane, dude. Corporate work culture in America is absolute dog shit. I implore every man that's working for a company right now, devise exit strategies at all costs. That company does not care about you. It's all temporary. Look at it as such. It's a means to an end, merely a stepping stone in your life. Take all the time you have off work while you're using that as a sustenance and figure a way out. Teach yourself something, take classes, courses, online how-tos on YouTube. Start experimenting, side businesses, ideas, something while you're working for this other company. Have an income coming in. After your side business gets started, who knows? You might strike it lucky early on and in a few months you're profitable, or maybe it takes you a couple of years and you're profitable, but eventually you will be profitable if you don't give up. And once you become profitable, the moment your side income matches your main income is the moment you quit. The moment that side income can sustain you is where you go all in on your dreams. I did something very similar when I started my business in remodeling and construction. In America, I was working for another company. On the side, when I got off work, I was going to my own clients, doing my own work on the wall, painting, stucco, woodwork, all that stuff with my old man. And eventually we got so many people that it replaced the main income I had for the other company. I quit. I went all in. And my life changed forever.
There's no incentive to work at these warehouse jobs anymore. And it's not just because of the lazy people that they're bringing in. And this is true. I've seen it across the board at this job, at this warehouse for 12 years. And my wife's seen it for 20 years. They bring in the lazy people, and all they do is sit around on their phones, talking, bullshitting around, not getting the job done. And this isn't just Gen Z. This is fucking millennials, Gen Xers, baby boomers. They're all fucking not working. None of them are fucking working. And you got maybe 10% of the workforce in there is doing 90% of the fucking work for the same fucking pay. I took on a lot of the roles of management, doing startup meetings and shit. That was my own fault. But like I said, my mind wasn't right because it was a good job for the first few years. It was worth going into back in 2010. And then shit just changed with management. And it starts at the top. Management want to say, well, if we could only get good workers in, that's like 50% of the freaking problem, man. Half the problem, if not more the problem, is them, the management. They're the reason.
And they gaslight you and tell you it's the team members, it's the workers at the bottom that need to step it up, that you guys need to put in more hours, that you need to have more effort when dealing with clients, that you need to be here earlier and leave later and show appreciation for the piddly amount that we're paying you, and initiative that you want to be better than everybody else. It's such bullshit. Management is always the problem. Bro, 99% of the time in any job I've ever worked at or any of my friends, management is at fault for everything, whether it's the useless middle management that you have to deal with that are complete buffoons, or it's the higher end management, corporate, who comes down on the store or wherever you're working at with the dumbest ideas ever to extract more and more profit. And you at the bottom as a team member or whatever at the store level, front facing, dealing with customers every day, know that that's a horrible fucking idea and you're going to lose customers, lose business, and eventually lose your job. It's stupid as shit. Corporate jobs are garbage. Unless you got a big daddy, ballin' family, he's already high up CEO position, can get you some insane entry level position that's paying out 100+ K and you're basically safe. Unless you got mega connections from some Ivy League school, it's fucking shit and it should only be seen as temporary.
Reason why people don't want to work for them, because they don't hold others accountable, and they sure as hell don't hold that same standard and hold themselves accountable. They don't want to get in there and help you out.
Of course not.
I'm not saying all of them. There was a few managers in that company over 12 years. I can count on probably one or two hands out of hundreds, though. 10% were worth a damn. And those 10% of those managers that were worth a damn were overworked themselves and their hands were tied. And there was shit they couldn't do. But the other 90%, the vast majority of management in these warehouse jobs, they're fucking worthless, man. They're pulling them off the street with a degree instead of hiring within with people who have experience and know the building, know the system, know the departments. And I'm not just jaded because my wife didn't get it 3 fucking times. Of course I am a little bit. Fuck them. You know who you are if you're watching. But it's just hire within, like promote within, man. Instead of pulling people who have a degree. Your degree ain't shit, man. Just because you have a degree don't mean you know how to fucking do operations in a building. There's team members that know how to do operations more than some of these fucking managers. It's ridiculous. It's not worth it anymore. It's not worth going into these warehouse distribution jobs where you're treated like dog shit. And then you might be the 1% that's working hard. The other 90% are dog shit too. They don't want to fucking work. They want to sit around. They want to do the least amount of work as possible and get paid the most as possible for as long as possible. That's why you need to not quit. I'm not saying to quit. Don't quit because right now you need a job. I'm saying use your warehouse job as a stepping stool to quiet quit, to get yourself in a place to where you can walk out and work at any job you want like I did. And be happy doing the job you enjoy, even if it's less money, to where at any point in time, you can say, you know what? I don't like this job. I don't need you. You might need me, but I don't need you. Because I've been retired for the last 2 years, and I made a video about how I'm trying to search for purpose. Like, I had financially everything in order. I had all my ducks in order to quit this job at 12 years. And the reason why I didn't quit right away is because I have kids. I needed to make sure that I had a plan in place. And it took me 5 years of the 12 years to plan to get out from my escape. I'm here to tell you, you could do the same thing. Plan your escape. Don't quit. Plan your escape. Because these warehouse jobs, these management, they don't give a shit. They don't care. And it's not just the management. It is people that don't want to work, man. It is people. And they sit there quietly laughing at you while you're hustling like a fucking rabbit all over the dock floor trying to get the shit done in time just so you can go home and get paid the same amount of fucking money that these lazy motherfuckers are getting paid. And management is to blame. Who the fuck wants to work like that? Who wants to work like that? And on top of who wants to work like that, who the fuck wants to be in management over that? Shit has to change, man.
Check this out, too. I have an article here from Business Insider. It says a shortage of young men in the workforce could weigh in on housing, Social Security, and growth for years to come. Guys are smartening up to exactly what this dude's talking about earlier. Men do not want to participate in this skewed, horrendous, doesn't give a shit about you, predatory, abusive, slave-like system that just uses your body and spits you out when it's done. It says declining workforce participation among younger men could weigh in on U.S. economy for years. The trend could drag on economic growth, housing, and Social Security funds. The effect could last decades as there's no clear ways to spark a turnaround. No clear ways, like hiring from within. No clear ways, like stop funneling jobs overseas. No clear ways, like shutting down H-1B visas. No clear ways, like just paying people more. No clear ways, guys. Remember, there is no clear ways. America's job market, it says, is mysteriously short on young men. It's a trend experts say will drag on the economy and could take years to fix, mainly because men have already been dropping out of the workforce for decades. So the labor force participation rate of prime working age men has been declining over the last 20 years. Today, 10% of men aged 25 to 54 don't have jobs and aren't looking for one. And by the way, when they say don't have jobs, it's their voodoo numbers in the way they count being unemployed, because those numbers are far higher if they use the 1970s definition of unemployed, aka you just don't have a job, period, whether you're looking or not. And it says men aged 25 to 54 don't have a job and aren't looking for one. More than triple the percentage recorded in 55 when just 3% were out of the workforce. So some of them drop out of college and are just short of forlorn and have no purpose or meaning in life. They're not very likely to get married. They're very likely to be living in their parents' basement. They're lonely. They're isolated. A lot of men are just starting to vote with their wallets. We talk a lot about passport broing, expat, digital nomad stuff on this channel about going overseas and how to get that side business going and somewhat live comfortably overseas on far less. Like the dude in Da Nang, if you saw that video, was living on $1,000 a month. Others are doing $1,500, $2,000 a month in other countries. Here in Bucharest, where I am, you could easily get by on $2,000 a month. If you have any sort of digital business or a pension, is how most guys get out at this moment in time. But for the younger guys, an online business model that's generating you revenues monthly, it makes absolutely no sense to stay in the United States where you're being drained to death in a system that does not care about you. It says the U.S. workforce participation rate hasn't been that low since the 70s. It says the trend could weigh on key industries like infrastructure and manufacturing, where women are often less likely to seek work due to social stigma. Yeah, America is going to suffer big time for relegating a huge portion of their population, young men, as undesirables, leaving them destitute, but then will come groveling back when the economy turns to dog shit and they need to be saved. No more free taxes for you. Men are going overseas. No more pumping money into this system that's corrupt and says men aren't valued, nor takes their grievances seriously. And they won't make a goddamn change to this system until it's too bad and it's already on fire. And by then it's too late. There's nothing left to save. Everything's burning.
It's crazy. These companies, the management does not care for you, for me, for anyone. They're about the dollar. And I get it. I mean, I get it. Corporate America, right? Corporatism. I get it. I'm for it too. But at the same time, grab your fucking balls, managers. Grab your fucking balls, man. Start HR. Grab your fucking balls. Start paying attention to the ones that are depressed and angry. Because the ones that are depressed and angry are most likely the ones that give a shit about your company. The ones that are just laughing it off and chit-chatting and bullshit. They don't give a fuck about your company. They don't give a fuck about work. It's the ones that become bitter in the job that you need to be paying attention to. And it's crazy because that's what they want. That's what these companies want, is for you to become bitter. So you walk out, so you quit. They don't want somebody who's been there 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. They want you out. I'm in my 40s now, and I'm starting to realize late that you should never count on one single job.
Mm-hmm.
Never count on one single job for your finances, for any kind of security, because there's no such thing as job security. Always be upping your skills. Always be maybe even looking into a trade. Looking into bettering yourself. And planning your escape. If you work in some kind of dead-end job, warehouse job, factory, they're all the same. Fucking everybody wants a job with a pension. Well, pensions are long dead and gone almost, and everything's just a 401k now.
Mm-hmm.
Union jobs aren't what they fucking used to be either. The union reps don't give a shit about you. They just keep the shitty employees. That's all they care about. Most unions anyways, I'm not going to speak for all, but most unions don't give a shit anymore. I want you, if you enjoy your job and you love your job and you're satisfied in warehouse distribution work, typical warehouse job, more power to you. If you're happy, you're happy. But if you're like me and you got sick and tired of being sick and tired of that warehouse job, not so much because of the job itself, but because of the work environment, the toxic work environment and the shitty management, plan your escape. Plan to quiet quit. Don't quit. Use it. Use that job as a stepping stone financially to get yourself out. Don't be like me, man, and invest 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years into a company that don't give a shit about you. And that only promote.
And they'll gaslight you. It's like, why aren't you putting in work? Oh, when I was in your position, I was slaving away 80 plus hours. Oh, you just don't want to work hard enough, Tim. That's why we're not going to promote you. That's why we're not going to give you a raise. Companies having record profits and shit, doing the most volume they've ever done, and all the growth just across the board. Oh, can't give you guys raises. Nope, it's been a little tight. I just bought my 8th yacht. Just go fuck yourself. My Ferrari is going to need to get detailed soon. Later. This shit, it's insane. Corporations are straight dumps. It's an incredible system to get a bunch of people together with a common goal and vision to create a product. And basically, it's like the most effective model we have today of utilizing ideas and people and labor. However, it runs counterintuitive to family values, to the nuclear family, and to society's morals as a whole, because it only values one thing: profit. Profit above people, profit above country, profit above workers. As long as the shareholders are satisfied, that's all that matters. This is the problem with the corporate structure today. It's a good model, but it's not tailored for the long-term success of a nation, which is why every country that we're seeing right now under this heavy corporate influence, the corporate model is supreme. They're dying a very fast death right now. Populations are projected to absolutely crumble. Wages have stagnated despite increased inflation and increased company profits. Things are not getting cheaper. They're getting more expensive. As we progress technologically, things should be getting cheaper, guys. It's an illusion that things are getting more expensive. As manufacturing capabilities advance, technological advancements happen, more knowledge and research is being unlocked. The cost of goods and producing said goods needs to lower over time. But we are in a debt-driven society operated on magical paper currency, which is printed out of thin air to service the debt that we're paying taxes for in a system run by a private bank, giving you the illusion of stability and value. Do you want to know the value of your dollar? Look around at physical assets. How much does it cost to buy eggs? How much does it cost to buy milk? How much does it cost to fill your grocery cart today versus 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? You're seeing the value of the dollar erode before your very eyes. It's not more expensive to make eggs. That's bullshit. Not more expensive to produce milk. All these systems, all these industries have been automated. It's gotten cheaper. This is just the tale they've been selling us to keep us content with the shitty little crumbs that they give us. Just like he said, stop depending on them. Use them as a stepping stone. That's all they're good for. You are just a number. You punch in and punch out. They don't care if you're dying. They only care that somebody can cover your hours. The joke to be loyal to an entity like that.
The shitty workers, the hookers of the company. Makes no fucking sense. Makes no sense, man. Shit makes no sense. I'm definitely not saying to walk out on your responsibilities. I'm not saying any of that. Do the right thing. Stick it out. Do what you have to do to provide for yourself, provide for your family, pay your bills, stack some bread. Do what you have to do. Don't quit. I'm not saying to quit. I'm saying plan for your quiet quit. I'll make another video on how to do that. The warehouse work.
Yeah, any corporate job is basically a joke. Because working in corporate America gets you nowhere but in a constant state of stress and depression. Working at 95 isn't worth your mental health these days. This country is done. Looking busy is the same thing as lying, and I've never been a good liar. For me, looking busy is harder than working and actually being busy. The saddest thing is a parent telling their kid to go get a good job instead of going to start a business, and this is how you file your own taxes. Yep. The comfort of the rich depends upon an abundant supply of the poor. I think everyone is waking up to the fact that the working class are the slave class and treated like property, like a machine. I wish everyone success. Love from the UK. It's better to be liked at your job than be good at your job, and that's wild. Yeah, hard work is officially obsolete. You slave away at a job for 12 years and the company could not care less about you. Yet at the same time, a 21-year-old girl said "Hak tool" on camera, and now she is a millionaire and never has to work again. Never work hard again, for the value of your work is completely arbitrary. Yeah, if you're going to work hard, only do it if you're working for yourself. If you guys enjoy episodes like this, recommend me some more over on the emails below, or just join our Discord and post it in the video submissions channel. I like covering topics like this. It's far more interesting than the women stuff. And if you haven't joined us on the second channel, I walk around and show you guys what life is like overseas, as well as, the differences of life overseas, the culture shocks, quality of life cost, all that stuff, how you feel going overseas, living, the people, yada, yada, as well as the community chats that we have over in the private group. If you haven't joined, we'd love to have you. Share some wisdom, stories, experiences, help set you on the right path. And appreciate everybody that's been buying shirts, doing private consults. It helps, goes to the channel directly. And let me know what your thoughts are on the, topic of being a company man and life in corporate America in general, and those that have managed to escape, whether it's working for yourself or you left the plantation completely and went overseas. Curious to hear your stories. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.